I think that in the Seventh-day Adventist Church, we need to get back to our history. Okay, we need to get back to our history. We need to raise awareness of mental health, and we need to relearn the things that we once knew about how to treat mental illness. Because in the past, we have really missed significant opportunities, and I feel that we're at a place right now, just especially the way the healthcare landscape is right now in America, and I'm sure in the rest of the world as well, like where we have the potential to make a significant difference in the area of mental health. And we can stay asleep and miss the opportunity like we did during COVID. I'm so sorry to say, but I definitely feel like the Seventh-day Adventist Church, we as a movement, we really missed a huge opportunity during COVID. And now there's another opportunity to step on the stage and to address this mental health crisis that we're seeing. And I just pray that we don't miss that opportunity as well. Hey guys, Dr. Janelle Louis here, and I'm just on my way. I had a quick training this morning for my job, a handle with care training, just related to, because I work at a psych hospital, and so I had a quick training on just a refresher on how to handle our patients with care if we need to do so. Okay, so I'm on the way back from that, and then I headed out to run some errands. And so as a result, I'm thinking about mental health. And May is also Mental Health Awareness Month, so let's keep that in mind. Happy Mental Health Awareness Month. But basically, the main thing that I'm thinking about right now is the rich history of the Seventh-day Adventist Church in the area of mental health. Okay? If you guys remember from the Dunamis series, which I will remind you time and time again, that if you haven't seen the Dunamis series yet, then you should go back and watch it. I'll link it in the video. But if you remember from the Dunamis series, I shared an excerpt from a book. And in that book, they were talking about how the Seventh-day Adventist Church's institution, which was called the Western Health Reform Institute. So they talked in that book about how the Western Health Reform Institute was different from the other institutions of the day. And if you'll remember, there were three ways that it was different. Well, three main things that they focused on. That the most similar institution, which was the Dr. Jackson's Our Home in Dansville, New York. So that was the most similar institution. And it was different from the institution that we started in three ways, okay? And two out of those three ways had to do with mental health, okay? So one of the ways that it was different was that the Western Health Reform Institute, there at the Western Health Reform Institute, the staff placed heavy emphasis on mental therapy, okay, biblical mental therapy, okay? And then the second way that it was different wasn't necessarily mental health related, but it was in its emphasis on gradual labor. So whereas the other institutions were like, okay, you're sick, lay down and do nothing, that's how you'll get better. The Western Health Reform Institute was more like, hey, as soon as you can, get up, walk around, kind of like what we acknowledge today as being good for a person who's sick. And then the third area that the Western Health Reform Institute differed was in the influence, the influence that it placed, or the importance that it placed on the influence of Christian peace upon the mind and body. Okay, so that's mental and spiritual, but it's related to mental health as well. So this institution that we started was really one of a kind. It was very different from the way that healing was believed to take place at that time. So it was really revolutionary. It really was. And the thing that made it revolutionary was, first of all, that patients were able to get results there that they weren't able to get anywhere else. So that's going to make something revolutionary. But then also the tools that they used that brought about the revolution were the emphasis on mental and spiritual well-being. Okay, so the Seventh-day Adventist Church, our history is rich, is fraught with examples of this integrated work, integrated physical, mental, and spiritual, and the effects of this work, the positive effects that were witnessed when this combined work that was given to us by God was put into play. Okay, there's actually a quote, and I will put the quote up on the screen, but it's talking about how, I'm trying to think of exactly how it's worded, but essentially it says that there were the effects that people got by going to our institution were nothing like the effects that people got at the other institutions. Like, people that had been treated at other institutions and pronounced incurable were able to come to our institution and find healing. Okay, and I think that's big. I think that's important. And again, I believe that it goes back to us doing the Lord's will, doing what He has said that we should do, which is an integrated work that not just focuses on the physical, but also the mental and the spiritual and social, which I believe is kind of bound up in the mental. Hey guys, so as I was getting ready to put the quote up on the screen, I read it again and I was like, no, this is too powerful. I have to take the time to read the quote so that they can hear it verbatim. Okay, so I'm going to really quickly read the quote in its entirety. Okay, so this is from The Fruitage of Spiritual Gifts by Lewis Harrison Christian, page 306. It says, the sanitariums stood forth and were recognized as entirely distinctive from worldly institutions, where the chief therapy employed was drug therapy. Instead of the popular psychotherapy employed by worldly physicians, stress was laid upon Bible methods of mental healing. Physicians with a spiritual knowledge of their patients' needs were able to carry forward Christ's methods. Marvelous were the results obtained in some of the cases pronounced incurable by worldly physicians who employed narcotics and hypnotics and drug therapy generally. Prayer at the bedside of patients was a daily procedure of the physicians. Okay, and in this book, it's quoting from The Medical Evangelist, January 15th, 1947, page 3. All right, back to our regularly scheduled programming. So, with that being said, one of the things that you guys know that I have a passion for mental health. That's always been my passion. I shouldn't say always. That became my passion when I was a teenager. So a little bit about my background, because I don't think I've shared it on this channel. So I'll share a little bit about my background. I grew up in a home where my biological father, I should say, not my stepdad, if you know me, my biological father, had a lifestyle of cheating on my mom, and it really negatively impacted her mental health. And as a result of that, my mom was eventually diagnosed with depression, anxiety, and panic disorder. And she was very debilitated by the anxiety and the depression and the panic disorder, panic attacks as well. So I remember seeing my mom like unable to get up and go complete her activities of daily living. Like, she couldn't even go to the shower without feeling like she was going to pass out and die. She had to, I remember my grandmother would have to come over and sponge bathe my mom because she just couldn't do those things for herself. Because she was so debilitated by the depression and the anxiety. And one can understand, like, you can understand why that would be, you do everything that's right. It's do everything that's right. And, you wait until marriage to have sex, you marry someone in the church, and then things like this happens. It's really hard for a young mind, a 20-something-year-old, to really process that, So my mom had a difficult time with that. And she was her mental health really was negatively impacted by that. So long story short, my mom was eventually put on 3 different medications. She was put on more than 3 medications, but at any given time, she was only on 3. Okay, so they trialed different ones. But at any given time, she took 3. And there was one point where my mom came to me and she said, Janelle, I feel worse on the medicine than I felt before I got on the medicine. And I'm having more anxiety, more depression, and more panic attacks. I really don't think the medication is helping. And I just want to stop taking the medicine. And so I went with my mom to see her psychiatrist, and we talked with him, but he didn't really want her to get off of the medicine. And it was, I will say, okay, I'm a psychiatric nurse practitioner as well as a naturopathic doctor. So I know a lot of people in the field, and I will say that this experience is abnormal, okay? But I know it's the experience of a lot of people. Like, the extent of this experience, it's kind of unbelievable if I tell you what really happened. But it did happen, okay? So, and I know that there are many compassionate psychiatric providers, and I'm not in any way saying that this person is a representative of the entire field, but I also know that there are people out there who do things like this, and this is why a lot of times people have such a negative perception of getting mental health care. Okay. So anyway, we went to the psychiatrist. He didn't want her to get off the meds. He said, I'm not treating depression and anxiety. I'm preventing it. You need to keep taking these meds. Whoever's telling you to get off of this medicine does not love you. These were his words as he looked in my direction. It was just a very traumatic experience. And I think, eventually what happened was he finally agreed to give us the weaning protocol, because we knew that these were meds that you couldn't just stop, but we didn't know, how my mom should go about stopping. And I was like 18, 19 at the time. So I was a teenager. Okay, so basically he gave us the weaning protocol. My mom weaned off the meds, but the protocol was too fast for her. probably given her genetics and how her body processed the medication. And she ended up in an emergency department with stroke-like symptoms. And from that experience, I really felt like, man, when it comes to mental health, it's so important to have an advocate, to have someone who understands the pharmaceuticals, to have someone who understands the pathophysiology, someone who can really help you navigate the mental health system, because the healthcare system is already complicated. But mental health, from my experience being on both sides, mental health can be even more complicated this is my opinion, of course, if you are not initiated into it, it can be very difficult. So from that experience, I always, kind of felt like, man, I would love to be an advocate for my patients in mental health, help them optimize their physical and mental wellness so that they can get off the medication if they feel that the medication is not helping them, so they can safely get off of the meds. Or, if they need to stay on a small dose of meds, minimize the amount of meds that they need to take, so that, they are able to live the best version of life that they can live given their circumstances. So that's always been my passion, and that's what led to me going into becoming a psychiatric nurse practitioner, and even specializing in mental health when I was a naturopathic doctor before I even got into conventional psychiatry. Okay, so with all of that being said, I want to say this. I think that in the Seventh-day Adventist Church, we need to get back to our history. Okay, we need to get back to our history. We need to raise awareness of mental health, and we need to relearn the things that we once knew about how to treat mental illness, because I have seen post after post after post after post on Facebook in the different medical missionary groups of people, just reporting the need for help, the need for someone who understands, Christ's method of healing, and also psychiatry, psychiatric disorders. There's a great need. There's such a great need out there. And I think that in the past, we have really not, we have neglected to attend to this need. And as a result of us not attending to this need, one second. As a result of us not attending to this need, in the past, we have really missed significant opportunities, and I feel that we're at a place right now, just especially the way the healthcare landscape is right now in America, and I'm sure in the rest of the world as well, where we have the potential to make a significant difference in the area of mental health. And we can stay asleep and miss the opportunity like we did during COVID. I'm so sorry to say, but I definitely feel like the Seventh-day Adventist Church, we as a movement, we really missed a huge opportunity during COVID. And now there's another opportunity to step on the stage and to address this mental health crisis that we're seeing. And I just pray that we don't miss that opportunity as well. So one of the things I mentioned previously that I wanted to do a training for the summer. One of the things that I've been thinking about is that I'm planning to do. Let me say it like it really is. One of the things that I'm going to do is I'm going to have a mental health training. Okay, so this training is going to be tailored towards, I would like for healthcare professionals, so nurses, nurse practitioners, any healthcare professional, even if you are a health coach and you have the time dedicated towards, you can dedicate time towards learning how to really address mental health concerns, then I believe that you could do this program as well. But right now what I'm doing essentially is I am designing a program to train people in a more integrative or functional medicine type approach to addressing mental illness, and an approach that is integrative, so it focuses on the physical, mental, and spiritual, and it models Christ's method, and from there, by God's grace, I believe we'll be able to organize and really make an impact in the mental health crisis that we're seeing right now. So basically what I'm doing right now is I would like to, if you are open to it and you are a healthcare professional with an interest in doing mental health Christ's way, and you're open to me, you're open to just having a quick conversation with me, or even if it's, a quick phone call or a Zoom meeting or a quick, back and forth, DM or something like that, I would like to just talk to whoever is interested or open. And I'd like to talk to you about what you feel your blocks are. Where are the gaps in your knowledge? What do you wish that there was a training geared towards, like, what do you wish would be included in a training that's geared towards mental health, so yeah, so that's what I would like to do, because as I am putting together the training, of course I'm putting together what I think is important, but I also want to tailor it toward what other people, like the areas where people feel existing trainings are lacking. Okay, so if you're open to having a conversation with me, there'll be a form at the bottom of this video. Go ahead and fill out the form for me, please. Thank you. All right, so that is essentially what I wanted to say today. I'll sum it up by saying that Seventh-day Adventists, like, we really have the potential to do something significant on the mental health scene. And I think that in the past we have kind of not used the opportunities that the Lord has given us in the best way. And I don't want that to be our story again. So I am making myself available to the Lord, see what He wants to do, how He wants to use the skills and abilities that I have obtained in becoming a licensed naturopathic doctor and also a board-certified psychiatric mental health nurse practitioner. See how I can cooperate with Him and help prepare His people to do His work. Okay, so yeah, we have there's a significant opportunity out there, and I believe that we should seize it. So if you want to be a part of that, then go ahead and fill out the form at the end of this video, and we'll be talking soon. So happy May, happy Mental Health Awareness Month. I know it's been a while since I've posted a video, so even though I'm kind of on the road today, I just wanted to record something really quickly and send this out. So we'll be talking soon, and I'm going to be posting a few more videos for Mental Health Awareness Month. Right now we're already halfway through the month, so I might be a little late, but the next few videos on this channel are going to be mental health based, integrated, but also with a heavy emphasis on mental health. So that's what you've got to look forward to. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel and like this video, leave a comment, and fill out the form. And we'll be talking soon. Bye.